Today we continue our webinar series, and today we bring you two of the leading members from WindForce, a company that is one of the leading players in the renewables energy space in Sri Lanka. And today we are very lucky to have with us Mr. Hussein Akbar Ali, a director of WindForce, and Mr. Manuja Pereira. Welcome to you both. Thank you for taking your time. I'm pretty sure these days are quite busy for both of you all. First, before we start, let me start off by congratulating you both on the successful oversubscription of your IPO. I'm pretty sure you've heard this enough and more times over the last couple of weeks. If anything, it is a testament to the company and management on board. So at SC Securities want to issue our heartiest congratulations. In terms of moderating, it will be myself, and I will be joined here by Mr. Jonathan Head of Research at SC Securities. And without any further delay, let's begin. So my first question, I actually throw it out to both members of the panel. What we thought some of our investors and clients would like to know is a brief history into WindForce, and what were some of your initial foray? Was this your initial foray into the renewable? I open the floor to both.
So WindForce was started then.
There seems to be a bit of, I think, feedback, or there's something up with one of the speaker. Yeah.
Manjula, I think there's a lack voice. Yes, not very clear.
Yeah, it's like a deep voice is coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think while Manjula. So I'll go ahead while Manjula picks it.
Sure.
So basically, WindForce was incorporated in 2010. What had happened was, before WindForce came into the picture, ourselves and the other promoting family, the Hydro Money Group, had a lot of energy assets held independently. And then we decided to kind of pool everything and create a bigger picture. So WindForce first started as supporting wind power plants, and then eventually we folded in our hydropower plants and added solar and mix as well. Basically unified and to create a larger entity, which has its own economies of scale when bidding for new projects and executing other things in the future.
And basically, when you came on to the whole WindForce project, this was also your first initial foray, was it not?
In wind, yes.
Yes, in wind, yeah.
In wind, it was our first ever foray. Before that, we had a lot of experience in hydro. Our companies, both of us individually had, hydro plants ranging from 800 kilowatts to about 4 megawatts. The first wind projects, the 2 into 20 megawatt projects at Putlam, were significantly larger than any of the other ones we had done before, and obviously a new technology to be introduced into the country as well. So
yeah,
a lot of apprehension and a lot of risks we did take at the time.
Absolutely, I can imagine. Manjula, I hope everything is okay at your end. We would love to get some of your sentiments with regards to Unfortunately, Manjula, I think the problem is persisting from your end.
Maybe Manjula, if you can re-log in, might sort out.
Yeah.
Or join from the phone even. You're getting something wrong with the mic.
I think it's something wrong with the mic on the instrument. Yeah. Charita, if you want to take it forward, we can.
Yeah, so until Manjula joins in, welcome Hussein. Once again, I would raise this question from you. Hussein, how do you see the appetite for renewable energy in Sri Lanka? And during the past 11 years of your operations, has there been a significant change in the perception for renewable energy?
So obviously when we started, when we started getting into renewable energy 10 years ago, it wasn't such a buzzword. There weren't that many people looking at it. Of course, over time, the world has become more sustainable, and especially you go overseas, and the foreign countries are very, very keen on clean sources of energy, energy sustainability, and that's become a hot topic, especially in the last 3 years. For us ourselves, we've always believed in it. It's been a passion of ours to kind of go green as it may. For Sri Lanka, I must say our government has ambitious targets. Being an island nation, we are completely dependent on fossil fuels at the moment, but we've set aggressive targets to go at least by 50% of renewable energy by 2030, and then I think even more by 2050. So I think the targets are there. It's now just enabling policy and opening it up even further to let people take it to that level.
And where do you actually see the renewable space, maybe like, let's say 5 years down the line? What do you see in the scope in terms for Sri Lanka?
Okay.
And where do you see some of the major growth areas in terms of renewables for Sri Lanka?
If you take Sri Lanka, I think the hydro potential is going to be limited. There's going to be limited growth in the future because all the best sites have been tapped out. The best sites are the easiest ones to develop, so obviously people would go and develop those first. Moving on, our wind and solar potential is incredible. First of all, being an island nation, we have fantastic wind resources. If you take, Putlam, Kalpitiya, and even Mana, you've got some of the best wind locations worldwide, not just Sri Lanka based. So that is something we should definitely exploit further. And I do believe the CEB and the government has a framework in place to facilitate the growth of this. The other being solar. Solar is probably one of the fastest growing technologies worldwide today. And we've seen solar prices come down year on year over the last 5 to 10 years. And being so close to the equator and being such a tropical country, we have amazing potential for solar as well. Personally, I believe the technology that's going to define the future of sustainable energy is going to be battery technology. We produce all this amazing wind and solar energy, but we need to match that with demand. Generally, Sri Lanka, we need a lot of energy in the night. Solar can't provide that. We need a way to safely store this and dispatch it later. And I mean, our team has seen fantastic things in the world of battery technology. And the exciting thing is our new project in Senegal, which we're hoping to get off the ground towards the end of this year, is one of the first projects that a Sri Lankan company is going to execute using battery technology. So we're very excited about that.
And with regards to the Senegal power plant, that's where like a large chunk of that IPO proceeds is actually going to, right, in setting up that power plant. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
It's a 35 megawatt solar plant with 10 megawatt hours of battery storage.
Okay. Welcome back, Manjula. I hope all is well from your end.
The issue is with I'm at Hotel Taj. The issue is with the signal here.
Oh, okay, no worries. No, but I think now it is much clearer. So I will also revert back to my prior question so that I could get your thoughts as well. I just want to know if you could also give your thoughts about WindForce, where it was at, and some of your initial forays into the renewable space.
Sure. I think I missed what Hussein said. So apologies if I am repeating some of the things.
No worries.
So as I explained, so 2010, we pioneered the wind industry in Sri Lanka. So since then, over the last 10 years, we have grown to be the largest renewable energy developer in Sri Lanka. And our present portfolio consists of 70 megawatts of wind plants in Putlam, Kalpitiya, and Elephant Pass, and 122 megawatts of solar plants, out of which 45 megawatts in Sri Lanka where we have two large plants in Vavuniya and Velikanda, and on rooftops another 13.5 megawatts. And when it's come to small hydro in Sri Lanka, we have 16 megawatts with 8 plants at different locations in the country. And all these plants were developed when we had the feed-in tariff in Sri Lanka for renewable energy. But then in 2015, the policy changed from feed-in tariff to tendering process through competitive bidding. So that made us to actually look into international markets where we became successful in 2017 with the first small hydropower plant in Uganda with a 2.7 megawatts. So since then, we have diversified into 3 countries, where Uganda, we have 10 megawatts of small hydro plants, 2 plants, and we developed the first solar plant by a Sri Lankan company last year, despite COVID, that's a 10 megawatt. And in Pakistan, we have a very strong local partner, developed 2 large projects. One is 18 megawatt in Punjab. The other one is a 50 megawatt in a place called Garo, closer to Karachi. And in Ukraine, we have developed a 9 megawatt solar plant together with Nox Solar of Norway. That again, a 9 megawatt solar plant. So this totals up to 218 megawatts of renewable energy power plants with 27 plant locations. So that's a brief about the history. And I think even Hussein would have briefed you. Our IPO proceedings was for 2 projects, one 15 megawatt in Mana and a 30 megawatt in Senegal. And also we managed to acquire 1/3 of Vaunathiv solar project that is called Solar Universe. Yesterday it was acquired, and part of the funds will be utilized for this project as well.
All right, thank you. Charita?
Yes, hi Manjula, welcome back. With regard to the remarks, Hussein, you made, now WindForce has a bigger footprint in wind power in Sri Lanka. Going forward, can we expect a significant shift in your energy portfolio pertaining to Sri Lanka? For instance, more emphasis being given to solar power in place of wind and mini hydro?
So Charita, as a company, our idea is to grow to about 500 megawatts by 2025. And out of that, we want 60% of our revenue to come from Sri Lanka and 40% to come from overseas. Generally, the overseas projects are all US dollar peg tariffs, so that will provide stability to the exchange rates. With regard to the type of power, I think we see solar and wind growing faster than hydro. I think I mentioned that before. And even out of that, I think solar may be a little faster than hydro, purely because of the time of construction. I think Manjula can elaborate about how long it takes typically to build.
What Hussein said is right. Solar is the way forward, especially with the battery technology coming in. So that will be the fastest growing technology in time to come. Developing even a large scale solar plant will take only about 6 months. There are instances where we have done one project within 64 days in Sri Lanka. That's the Vavuniya solar power plant. So it can be implemented that fast. And also worldwide opportunity also is more in solar compared to wind.
Right. And Manjula, I think in terms of operational cost, solar is a more cheaper source of energy compared to wind power. Am I right?
Cheapest is small hydro. Yes. Yeah. So the second is solar, and most expensive is wind.
So, I mean, you've already touched upon this, Hussein, where you guys want to be maybe by the time you're in 2025. But just to lend some more credence, where do you actually see WindForce being in another 5 years?
Definitely, we are looking at adding another 500, totaling up to 500 megawatts in 5 years. And Sri Lanka definitely is a stable place for us. Definitely, we'll grow in Sri Lanka. And then the African market is one of our key areas. We have the strength, and we have been there for the last 3-4 years. For example, now next month I'll be traveling to Cameroon, where we have been invited to as an emerging market to develop solar power.
Okay. And in terms of your targets on where you want to be in 5 years, what are some of the funding strategies that you'll be looking to employ to attain to those targets that you have sought out to?
When it comes to WindForce, the holding company, there are hardly any borrowings at WindForce level. So we have enough capacity to borrow at WindForce level for the development during the next 5 years.
For the next 5 years, so there will be a portion of it which will be debt finance, basically. That is it.
Correct. Normally, all these renewable energy projects in the past used to be 60-40. Now it is like last 3 years it has been 30-70. Now we can go down even up to 25-75 because the banks are so confident on renewable energy sector.
Okay. All
right. I think the next question, both members can answer this. Now, Manjula also mentioned the fact that Africa is one of the markets that you all have been operating for 3 to 4 years. And based on the prospectus, you all already have 3 plants totaling to about 20 megawatts. And a significant portion of the IPO proceeds will also be used to commission the 4th power plant in Africa. Now, the question is there a strategic advantage of building power plants in Africa? Because this will be your 4th one. And going forward, what would be some of the other geographical growth areas in terms of renewable energy is concerned? You just mentioned one, that Cameroon, you all are looking at it.
Sorry, go ahead.
So if you take Africa as a nation, so if you take Sri Lanka is almost 100% electrified, which means every single household has access to electricity. If you go to the African continent, that looks about 20 to 30% is only electrified across the continent. So the room to grow is much, much more. There is not only the growth that's needed, but also you need to give people electricity. So the potential to scale up fast is very attractive over there. Secondly, if you see WindForce, we are one of the few companies positioned in the 10 to 50 megawatt range. Most renewable energy developers worldwide operate at, 200-300 megawatts and above, or maybe 10 megawatts and below. In this space, there is very little competition. And I think in the region, we are one of the strongest contenders. Apart from Africa, we're also looking at South Asia very aggressively. We have growth plans in Pakistan. There are more things to come in the pipeline, which we can't disclose right now.
Of course.
Bangladesh is also very attractive to us because, as you know, our partners, the Hydromani Group, also have a very strong foothold in Bangladesh. And Maldives, our neighbor, there's some interesting opportunities coming out of there as well. So we want to be known as the preferred developer in the Asian and the African region.
And sorry, Sharita, I think I stumbled upon one of your questions. So then, I mean, it kind of blends into this next point that I was thinking of asking you also. Most of this expansion for the coming years, it'll be an exercise where there will be expansion domestically, whilst there'll be regional/foreign expansion, right? Both will go hand in hand.
Correct.
And in terms of other key segments, I was wondering, is there any opportunities somewhere inside, let's say the Southeast Asian market also for you all to tap, or is that not something viable at this juncture?
We are looking at Bangladesh and we were looking at Vietnam also. But we have not finalized anything there. And there is another technology which we are looking very seriously, that is waste to energy. Even in Sri Lanka, we had a very advanced stage of discussions on a waste to energy project, but we cannot disclose more details at the moment.
Yes. And also one thing that some of our investors would like to know is if they could get if we could get some clarity regarding the dividend policy that has been in place for WindForce, and what will the dividend policy be moving forward?
Hussein, you like to answer?
Yeah, if you see our historical dividend policy, we've paid out very generous percentage of profits over the past few years, and we expect that percentage to stay the same. You see, our policy has always been we declare the maximum dividends, and then for new projects, we'd call up capital. But now after the IPO, we have a massive war chest of cash which we're sitting on, which we're using to deploy for projects. I think we have enough for the next 2 to 3 years. But any income earned from the company, we will be paying it out. We're not looking at retaining anything into the company apart from the IPO proceeds.
Apart from the IPO proceeds, understood. Charita?
You're muted, Charita.
Charita, you're muted.
Yeah, I would like to raise this question again to both Manjula and Hussein. Now, one significant concern that most of the retail investors had is the public shareholding, which is not subject to a lockdown period. The existing shareholders, public shareholders. So I think roughly about 189 million shares are there. So based on your relationship with them and with the past experience you have, how do you think that these shareholders would react in the secondary market?
All the shareholders are calling us asking for a bigger allotment.
That's good news.
We've had a relationship. These parties have been with us for the past 5 to 6 years.
Oh, yeah.
And they are more than just partners now. They have grown the company along with us, and they're all in it for the long ride. I firmly believe. Please go ahead, Manjula.
No, the good testimony for that is, is that all of them have bought at the IPO itself. More shares.
Yes, that's good news, because that was a major concern among the retail investors actually.
Yes.
Because when we were promoting this, most investors asked, okay, there's unlocked shares 189 million. Could these shares come on the initial day at the secondary market? So that's great news for all shareholders in terms of those shares are concerned.
Correct.
So yeah, I think, is there any other clarifications that you would like to seek upon them, Charita?
No, I would like to hear from Hussein and Manjula. Any point that we have not covered that you all would like to share with the investors? Floor is open for you.
I think we have covered all the aspects. Anything to add, Hussein?
Yeah, I think we've gone through everything. We invite all you investors or anyone, whoever is driving
to subscribe.
One thing we could mention is what we have missed is that we have one of the best engineering teams compared to other developers in the market. So that is one of our core strengths. Like if you look at our track record, all our power plants we have done well in advance and well within the budgets. So that we will continue to keep that reputation because of the engineering excellence we are possessing.
That is very much a strength. Yes.
One more thing I forgot to add, apart from the engineering excellence, also the financial strength, not only of the promoting parties, but also of all our partners. We have done projects with Norsk Solar, as Manjula mentioned, which is a subsidiary of the NOR Fund, which is one of the world's largest pension fund. We have also very strong connections with the Aga Khan Development Network, who is one of the largest power developers in Africa. And similarly, we've all had conversations with IMF, ADB, where we've been conversing with them over the years and hope to engage them very soon.
Okay. Thank you for, yes. And I guess with that, Chaita, you have also no further questions, but I think with that, we can conclude this webinar. We genuinely want to thank you both, Hussein and Manjula, for taking your time. I'm pretty sure these days are very busy given that company is coming online on the 22nd.
Sure.
Yeah, and I'm sure it will be a roaring success. And
Thank you.
once again, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you to all the listeners for joining in as well. We wish
Thanks,
you guys
Paul.
all the best. All right,
Thank you.
Have a lovely
Thank
day.
you. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.